Hey guys, Rodney Walker here, Grand Central USA. Just want to continue sharing with you more about the story and also sharing with you on location more about some of the places that really kind of was the birthplace of Grant Central USA and the Grant Writers Association. And I enjoyed telling these stories to you because these are real events that really help to shape and make Grant Central USA what it is. And you know, here in Pasadena is where it all kind of started for me. Remember, as I've been telling you, I was just simply looking to get a grant gig where I could actually go and start helping to get clients. Remember, if you haven't had a chance, go back and check out the other documentary I told you about, the road to getting funded. But you remember I told you I started at the Boys and Girls Club. That was the first place. And from doing that training over at the Boys and Girls Club, the second place that I ended up doing the training for ended up being where we're getting ready to head right now. I had a lady, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the story, but remember I went to the Boys and Girls Club, I did that training that had about 10 to 12 people were there. And after plastering flyers all around different locations telling people about that training, one of the people that came to that training ended up really being moved by the information and was really impacted. And she was like, hey, would you be willing to come in and teach this and offer this at my graduate school? And I was like, sure, I'd be happy to. And I never forget, I told her that, hey, just let me know. I'll do the training. I'll do the training the same way I did at the other location. The first location I did it free. I said, hey, I do it free as well. What we'll do though, I said, hey, we'll just have them buy the book. And the book, remember, the book wasn't even a book that I didn't even write the book. It was my professor's book, and he allowed me to sell that book. So I sold that book, and I think I sold it for like $25 or somewhere around there. And I'm thinking at the time that, hey, we're gonna do this event, and maybe it's gonna be another 10, 15 people that show up at this event. Well, I didn't know what was gonna happen. There ended up being a lady that ended up taking the word, and she took it back to the group. The group ended up saying, okay, great, hey, we wanna do this event. And so we did this event, and they end up taking that information and sharing it with students in a 30-mile radius. I was blown away with that. I was like, oh, wow, they're gonna share it within a 30-mile radius? And so when they shared that information in that 30-mile radius, it ended up going all over. And we ended up having like something like 70 plus people that showed up, around 78, I think to be exact, ended up showing up to this event. And it was right here. Yeah, it was right here over at Fuller Theological Seminary. So I'm doing this event. People end up signing up for this event, and I was so excited on that day when that event came. And we're here on the campus right now, and I'm gonna show you the actual building that this event took place at. And I never forget, the same way that I did pass out flyers last time, I came all around here on this campus and passed out flyers as well. And it was in this building right here. This is the building where that training was done at. And went inside there and did the training, and people showed up, and I was nervous because remember, I'm still fairly new at the time with this knowledge. I had gone to grad school and was working on my MBA and teaching this information, but it was right back in here. And I came back and taught it, and right over here was some of the places I came in and was just sharing that information, that insight, and it was a special day. Now let me tell you what happened. One of the people that came to that training, and it was right back through there, one of the people came to training, like, well, first, before, let me tell you this, I was plastering stuff all on these little walls, letting people know about the event that was gonna be going on. But one of the people that came to that training was a young lady by the name of Captain Tammerbolt. She was working for the Brim Center that's around here somewhere. And she was the one that I was telling you about that was bumping her head up against the wall, trying to get funded, didn't know what she was doing wrong. Well, she came to this event, okay? So she comes to the event, now, and she ends up taking the knowledge and the information and goes back and ends up winning $400,000. And she sends me this email, and if you've seen some of our other site and some of the other information on some of our sites, you've probably seen her testimonial, but she gets $400,000 over the course of 3 years, taking the insight and the information. And I'm ecstatic because this was the first big fish that I helped to be a part of helping to secure. But all of this, again, doesn't happen if I don't step out and do the first event that leads me to being invited to do this event over here. And, you know, so a part of the legacy that I feel is like some of the information that I was able to share then helped to have an impact on this organization and on people's lives. And that becomes really, really special. And I came back and did a few events. I think I probably did 2 or 3 here, and they were very gracious to have me to come by and do this. And so I was privileged to be able to be a part of that. Another person, though, that came to that training, you probably heard me talk about some, was a gentleman by the name of Kanodi. Kanodi, remember, he was the one who, if you've seen some of the other videos and some of the other trainings, I've kind of talked about him, but he was a student at the time over here. He comes to the training. Let me tell you what happened. He comes to the training. He was trying to raise $15,000 so that his internship would end, okay? Well, he didn't know what he was going to do, and he asked, "Hey, Rodney, what do you think I should do?" I said, "Well, have you thought about writing a grant?" And he hadn't. So he comes to the training, and he gets the information, he gets the insight, he goes back and he works and he gets a grant from the Mustard Seed Foundation for like $15,000. So, you know, his internship wasn't going to end until he had raised that money. And so I feel like I did something good in the world by helping him to end his internship. But the beautiful thing is he eventually goes and he becomes a professor, and he was instrumental in helping me to teach a class over there, which really led me down the path of teaching classes online. So thank you for that, my friend. Thank you. And it's beautiful how life is, how I was able to help him to achieve one of his goals. He ends up, in turn, helping me to achieve one of my goals. And that's a part of kind of like what happens when you start doing this whole grant thing and when you start helping people. Remember, the event that started was a free event, and that event led into other things that at the time I didn't see, I didn't know. But it's funny how life is. So again, my encouragement to you and whatever you do is don't be afraid to start, because you know when you start and take a stand to do something special, you never know how one thing is going to lead to the next thing. So hopefully you're catching that everything is connected, and that's what's been happening with my story, and that's a part of it, and that's special. So I want to encourage you with all that you do to be brave, to be bold, to be brilliant, and remember, never forget, take charge.